It's that time of the year, kids are going back to school, you're going off to college, and you probably need a new laptop.
So in today's video, we're going to go over 5 of our favorite budget gaming laptops, and sadly, the word budget doesn't mean as much as it has in the past, but we will still give you our best recommendations for those looking to keep the price as low as possible, while also yielding good price performance with a gaming laptop. And we'll dive into that list after a word from today's sponsor. If you're going to invest a good chunk of money into a gaming laptop after watching today's video, you need to hear this. Making sure your gaming laptop stays nice and cool under intense workloads is the #1 way to protect your investment. And with today's video sponsor Llano, they can make that happen with their V12 and V12 Ultra. The Llano V12 is not your typical laptop cooler. It includes a foam seal that forces cool air into the intake vents on the bottom of your laptop. This results in significant improvements to temperatures and in some cases even improving performance by giving your laptop room to boost its clock speeds higher. You can control the V12 by adjusting the fan speed manually using the included dial, or if you opt for the V12 Ultra, you can use its included software, which automatically sets temperature targets and adjusts the fan speed to match. Oh, and of course, it has some super sick RGB with different modes to make your gaming laptop setup pop. To learn more about the Llano V12 and V12 Ultra, check the link down below to start protecting your laptop investment today. And if you do opt to buy the Ultra model, you can use code V12Ultra02 to save 10% off your purchase. Big thanks again to Llano for sponsoring this laptop roundup. Now let's get to some laptops that'll work great with the laptop cooler.
Now, the first disclaimer we're going to get out of the way is, do you really need a gaming laptop? You know, we always tell people that Matt and I both had gaming laptops many times, and at the end of the day, if you already have a desktop or if you already have your peripherals, you might as well just get a desktop. But if you think you're going to be traveling, you think you might game on the go, totally worth having a gaming laptop. But at the end of the day, if you're just doing schoolwork on it, we will leave some alternate suggestions for some cheap laptops that don't have to have a graphics card.
But I know you guys out there, especially those going off to college or trying to convince your parents, hey, I need this gaming laptop with an RTX 5060 for me doing my Word documents. If that's more your thing, you know what? Good luck with that. But we'll definitely give you all the reasons why you should pick up one of these laptops we're going to suggest. But just keep in mind, we don't want you to overspend on a laptop that you may not necessarily need for gaming when you have a full-fledged gaming PC.
So the first laptop we're going to recommend is the MSI Cyborg 15.6-inch gaming laptop. Now, this one's going to come in right around $1,000, and keep in mind, by the time you're watching this video, maybe give it a week, maybe give it 2 weeks, because you may get some really good back-to-school sales, you may get some Black Friday sales, or heck, you may even see some good sales during the winter if you're watching this by then. But this laptop is awesome because you're getting an RTX 5060 laptop GPU that actually has some pretty good wattages to it, and you're getting the Intel Core 5 210H, which is an 8-core 12-thread processor, and that's going to be enough to be able to play any game you want. Because you got to remember, the really nice part about a laptop is whatever resolution the screen is, that's pretty much going to be your limiting factor on gaming. So as long as you have a pretty decent GPU and a pretty good CPU, any game that you throw at it, even the new AAA titles, you're going to be just fine with. You don't need to go buy a 5080 or 5090 laptop. These $1,000 laptops, which is going to be like a big bulk of this video around that price range, they're really awesome for the price. Now, this laptop isn't really going to stand out a ton from the rest because it's going to come out with the 512GB SSD and 16GB single channel more than likely. So almost all these laptops are going to be configurable. Oftentimes you can go straight to the website, or if you use like Amazon, Best Buy, Walmart, you'll often find that these laptops will come in different spec configs for different price ranges. But for the $1,000, it's actually really not too bad. Even the single channel RAM doesn't hold you back a ton, but if you want to upgrade it, it's not a big deal. We always do teardown guides in our laptop videos, and they're pretty simple to do. You can add an extra stick for maybe around $150 or so.
Now, some of these laptop recommendations are going to be more general recommendations as to just focus more on the lineup of laptop rather than a specific configuration. But the next one in that category is the Acer Nitro V or the Acer Nitro V if you're looking for a gaming laptop. This gaming laptop is one that we've always been happy with in terms of the build quality and the performance you're getting for the money, and they really come in a wide range of different spec configurations. The one you can get right now under $1,000 if you're trying to keep the price a little bit lower at $899 would come with only an RTX 4050, and for the CPU that would end up being the same Intel 5 210H CPU that we saw on the MSI Cyborg laptop, which honestly, if you're more focused on work rather than gaming, getting that really solid CPU and a slightly lesser GPU and saving yourself about $100 might make a whole lot of sense for you, because in terms of RAM and storage, it's exactly the same. 16GB DDR5 memory and a 512GB SSD. Now, dropping from the 5060 down to the 4050 is a pretty decent GPU drop. You're losing 50 series GPU support, so all the new DLSS tech you won't have on this laptop. But again, if this is a thing where you're wanting a laptop for mainly work with gaming on the side. We've always been very happy with the Acer Nitro laptops for their productivity work, and gaming can be fine at 1080p medium-low settings based on the benchmarks you're seeing on screen here. It has been a little bit since we've seen one of these laptops in the studio though. It's been a couple months. The body of the laptop still seems about the same, but the spec ranges have changed a lot because of the ongoing RAM shortages we're dealing with. So let us know down below if you want to see an updated review of the current spec you can buy from them. But we feel very comfortable giving you all a general recommendation for this model of laptop because we've never been disappointed. Now, last thing with this laptop is the screen. This one comes with a 15.6-inch 165Hz display, which is really nice. Actually a step up over the MSI Cyborg. Really, frame rate wise, you're not going to be pushing that crazy high of an FPS on these laptops to begin with. So as long as you're looking for a laptop that has at least 144Hz, so you get a little bit of fluid gameplay and just smoother use when using the laptop, you're going to be pretty happy. And that 15.6-inch size is kind of the minimum I'd recommend for somebody who's actually going to be gaming on the device, because screens, it can be really hard to game on, especially if they're smaller. Even if we're talking like 14-inch laptops, it can be really difficult to really focus in without docking it to an external monitor. So we think 15.6-inch is the sweet spot, and this Acer definitely delivers that.
Now, believe it or not, our next pick is actually going to be an Alienware laptop. So specifically the 15.3-inch line. We've actually had some really good luck with those. We did a video where we bought the cheapest Alienware laptop. At the time, it was an RTX 5050 laptop, brand new, and it was a little bit expensive to us. I mean, it was over $1,000, but that laptop has dropped in price, and on top of that, they even have a 4050 version of the laptop now that's $899. So you can definitely get some good bang for buck, and it's cool too, because if you don't want Intel for some reason, which we think it's pretty good, you can get something like the Ryzen 5 220 inside of this laptop. So just depending on what flavor of Intel or AMD you want, these laptops give you pretty good spec ranges. And of course, the Alienware has some good upgradability, so you can add more RAM, you can add more storage, and on top of that, it's got our usual 1080p high refresh rate screen. And one of the redeeming qualities of this laptop was the screen is not the typical 1080p, just 144 Hz. It's actually 16 by 10, so you actually get a little bit more resolution overall. It makes it a little bit cleaner looking on the picture. Usually you have even less bezels too, so it just looks a little nicer. And Alienware, I will say, their laptops have some pretty good build quality to them. And the RAM and storage is going to be kind of the same deal. I mean, we're looking at like a 512 gig, we're looking at single channel RAM more than likely. That's pretty much going to be most of these laptops. You're going to have to really search to find dual channel included for free.
Now, here's another general recommendation we normally take a look at whenever we're looking for a budget gaming laptop. That's the Lenovo LOQ line, specifically the models that come with 15.6-inch displays. The refresh rate does vary across the board, but this lineup has always been really good in terms of price performance, and it's always going on sale around back to school time and Black Friday. For example, there is one at Best Buy that is probably out of stock by the time you're watching this video, but a good example of one of these you can pick up that comes with a 4050 and a Ryzen 5 CPU, 16 gigs of RAM, dual channel, and a 512 gig SSD for $749, which compared to the other laptops we talked about is actually a pretty solid deal in terms of what you're getting. The LOQs have always been really good in terms of build quality. We've always really liked them, and the very minimal design doesn't scream gaming laptop. It screams a laptop that you can actually use as like a work laptop and also do some gaming on the side. I will say a lot of these laptop manufacturers have gone for that approach rather than just the crazy gaming look laptops. You can use these comfortably out and about and not feel like you're carrying around a really crazy gaming device. It can operate as a normal work laptop that can be in meetings if you want to. But our general recommendation for the LOQ line is definitely take a look at these during Black Friday. If you're watching this in November or maybe even early September, it's definitely a good idea to look at these laptops when it comes to Black Friday time or in the early holiday season. It's kind of the best bang for buck range for them because Lenovo's always running sales. Take a look at Best Buy, Walmart, and use those links down below. We're always going to suggest you look at multiple retailers for all the laptops we suggest because different retailers will offer different specific SKUs that are exclusive to that store. I know Costco's one that you can go in store and find some good deals sometimes, but we won't know those SKUs until they come out. So definitely just look at the specific model and then look through different retailers to find different options, and leave comments down below if you have any questions. I bet everyone else in the community would be willing to help you out if there are laptop suggestions you need some recommendations for.
So now we also have an honorable mention to the used market. So we've gotten some amazing deals, especially on places like eBay for mainly the older laptops. When you're looking at some of the newer ones, you might be able to save 10, maybe 15%. But if you're looking at some of the older ones, like let's just say some of them that have like maybe 3rd gen Ryzen or even 5000 series Ryzen with something like a 3050, you might be able to find those for like $300 to $400 quite often, and they're just amazing price to performance. I mean, you are going to be playing games at lower FPS, but once again, it's on a 1080p screen. Typically, it's pretty small, so you're not going to notice the difference in having to run like low details versus maybe medium or high details when it's on a screen that's that small. So we do recommend checking at least before you go buy a brand new one if you're on a tight budget. And also check your local places like Facebook Marketplace. You'd be surprised at some of the offers that people may take on their gaming laptops.
And the last just honorable mention I always like to throw out there, because again, going back to the beginning of the video, you may be buying a laptop and you may not be doing gaming primarily, but you want a good device that'll give you good battery life and be good for workflow in terms of like day-to-day tasks that you're doing, whether it's schoolwork, office work, whatever. The MacBook Neo is still at a respectable price of $699. It has gone up a little bit because of RAM pricing, but it is a laptop. When we tested it, gaming-wise, not very great. But in terms of just the build quality you're getting and the performance you're getting, if you're okay with macOS or willing to learn macOS, it is a good complement to a gaming PC in terms of a laptop that can get a lot of work done. As a PC gamer, I daily drive a MacBook and I've been very happy with it for my work use cases, but I always got to mention it. I know PC gamers are always scared to go macOS, but to be honest, in terms of the portable on-the-go work devices, macOS has some really good options in terms of the MacBook, and the MacBook Neo is one that's at a very competitive price compared to the rest of the market right now.
And I gotta give one more honorable plug to something that if you want to go even cheaper, the 7520U laptops out there, every brand makes one. Lenovo, Asus, you name it, Acer, they all have one. You can get them usually with like 8 gigs of DDR5 and usually like a 512 gig SSD. They're all over eBay, places like Walmart and Best Buy if you want to go same day and pick one up. We have multiple videos on them. You can get them for like $300 to $400 brand new. So some pretty insane price to performance if you're mainly looking to do work on them with some really light gaming, maybe even at 720p.
So if you want to buy any of the laptops we mentioned in today's video, links in the description down below will be affiliate links. They will help us out. Let us know what kind of deals you find throughout the remainder of 2026. I imagine this will probably be our only laptop roundup for the rest of the year. So as always, if you find any other deals, leave them down below and we'll try to keep the links updated as we can to some deals as we find them. We like to use this as a resource for you guys to be able to find the best possible deals, especially in this RAM market right now. It can be a little bit difficult and the deals do come and go pretty quickly. So if you guys want to stay on top of those deals, check the links down below and maybe consider joining our Discord server, discord.gg/toastybros. We have a deal section where our guy Jonah posts a bunch of deals and we'll try to throw in some laptop deals as we go throughout the holiday season.
And as always, we hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure you check out our other 2 YouTube channels and also our twitch.tv/toastybros. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
See you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Now, if you want to check out PCBros.tech, we're often selling the laptops we talk about there.
PCBros.tech, you can buy a gaming laptop, a gaming PC, or some peripherals for your setup, or whatever. Did you guys know we have a storefront in Louisville, Kentucky? You can come in and try out all the stuff we have to sell. You can do that, and you can use code TOASTYBROS on checkout to save 3% on your next purchase. See you guys later. Goodbye.